posting another weekly outlook. So today is Sunday, the 5th of June. So I'm going to jump straight into the market as there's a few things I'm looking at. I wanted to get this out to you guys as soon as I can. So let's have a look. AUD/USD, so that buy setup last week, after having some very, very messy price action, ended up playing out very nicely and pushing up into 0.2 sort of 0.72 sort of 800. From there, later on the weeks, I mean, that right there would have been easy, approximately easy 100 pips, depending on if you closed it all. From there, we were looking for a buy from here, but then I updated in the public Discord and said, like, wait for something like this, which obviously has not occurred as of yet. Okay, right now, very, very torn on what this is doing. It's either pretty much going to come back down and do a proper retest of 0.71 sort of 800 region, 700 region through here, and then we can look for the buy. Or what you can look for is, if I can get rid of this thing, is something like this. This actually might be a nice little sort of fake out into 0.7 to 800, and then a retest of this 0.7 to 200 level, and you could see the sell move lower. Okay, looking at the dollar, again, I have seeing a more bullish move on the dollar right now, but what we need to be aware of is it could also push into 1025 and then move lower. Okay, so right now, we like in the mentorship program, we have sells running on NZD USD, we have buys running on Euro NZD, and we're obviously we're aware of this sort of scenario on DXY, so we want to make sure you guys watch that as well. If it begins to respect this level, you could see a move lower. Otherwise, this will most likely break higher to the upside. So with that sort of in mind on DXY, if that was to push up into here, right, and then move lower, what we could see on AUD/USD is this sort of setup here. So just make sure you're watching what the dollar is doing this week, because the dollar is at very, very interesting levels. It's at yearly highs we've not seen since back in like November of 2002, right? So this does look very, very clean. So just make sure you guys are watching for that as well. Okay, CAD JPY, let's have a look. So I shared this, I think it was a week or two ago. Break, retest, look for the move higher. Really last week, I didn't update much last week, later in the week, because it really wasn't much. All the setups that I talked about early in the week were playing out. So it really wasn't much. It was just a lot of impulsive moves lining up within the market, or playing out within the market, I guess I should say. So what I'm looking for this week on CAD JPY is really not much as we move into the beginning of the week. All right, we're testing 104. So what I'm expecting from this, I'm expecting to see this kind of pull back from this 104 level to retest this 103 region here, 102.8 region here, and then if we can find support and respect this price point of 102.8, 103, then we'll see a move higher. Okay, but keep in mind, if you do see something like this start to occur on CAD JPY at this 104 level, you could see a nice sell from here to then give you a sell into 102.8 or 103, and then from there you can look to possibly buy and hedge it if it obviously gives a price action. So basically what I'm saying is you could see something like this play out for a sell into here, right? If you get something like this, it'd be an easy little 1 to 4, 1 to 5, and then if the buy was to occur, then you could see something like this to break higher. So you would then bag 4 or 5% from this, and then look for the buy from there. Okay, but a lot more price action is needed there, so don't just I'd want to see something just like this play out, or similar to that. Okay, so make sure you're watching for that. This to me seems like it'll be a later in the week setup based on that price action, probably a Tuesday, Wednesday thing. However, you never really know. Price can move, it could give it really clean and form earlier on in the week. So just make sure you're watching for that. Otherwise, I'll update on this again on Wednesday, either here on YouTube or in the public Discord via a post. Euro JPY. Okay, so I mean, guys, look back 2 weeks ago. Remember I said to look for this? Right? That sell, which a lot of you caught, that sell setup right there has now reached easily almost 500 pips. Easily almost 500 pips. So simple, guys. And a lot of you caught this. Now, I was looking for a re-entry on this level here. I believe this was last week. It just never gave. It was pretty much just a wick in the structure. And then same thing here. I've talked about last week about looking for a buy entry off this. I personally didn't catch anything here. A few of you did. I wanted a little bit more. I wanted price to kind of come back down into structure and test it again, and it just didn't give it. Okay, and this was sort of midday, so I was like, okay, it could probably come down wick again, 138, sort of 200 region. It just didn't, so that's okay. But yeah, 500 pip trade, easy trade, guys. I mean, that right there is a 1 to 12. So good job for catching that. I mean, literally, it's a free YouTube and Discord. It's so simple, right? So this week, what I'm looking for here is a retest of this 140 level. Very similar price action to CAD JPY, although this needs less of a pullback. So watch for this clear break and retest of 140 there. Okay, if it doesn't find support at 140 and this is like a fake out, then just look for the break retest to go lower and retest one of these levels. Your first target being here, your next target being here, and then we could go right back down. But right now, this is very, very bullish. JPY pairs are on a rocket right now, so I don't see any reason for this to turn around. However, I mean, guys, like price is going to do whatever it wants to do, right? So make sure you're watching for that. Okay, very, very clean setup on this pending. This could be very easily a London setup on Monday. Okay, USD JPY. So that sell ended up giving around a 1 to 7.4 for about 250 pips. Then it did the break and retest I was talking about. However, really not much price action here if I'm being honest. I know some of you guys took a trade here. I personally wouldn't. Like, it did what I wanted it to do. I just wanted a little bit more. That's all. So, I'm not going to say it was clean when it wasn't. I personally just wanted a little bit more. And although it played out, again, like the setup played out, it just, the price action for the entry just didn't give enough for me personally. Okay. And then, yeah. So what I'd be looking for this week, I know some people last week were selling this. I get it because it was off of 130, but you have to be aware of, this 129 sort of 500 level here. It literally wicked down into 129.5 and then pushed up. So what I'd be looking for here, right, is price to push up into this structure here, and then make sure you're watching the dollar, make sure you're watching correlated pairs, because although this is a JPY pair, this is also a USD pair, and if the dollar decides to dump this week, we could see a very, very, very big move down. Okay, so make sure you're watching price here. What I want to see on this is something sort of like this on like the 2 hour as like a minimum. Okay, but make sure you're watching for something like this. Otherwise, what we will see is price break this level and go higher like that. Okay, so make sure you're watching for patterns, rejection here. You could see a sell back down to here to get a proper retest of this 129 sort of 300, 400 level, and then the buy. But yeah, right now you are technically looking for sells. Just make sure you're patient enough for the price action. GA, same thing. The sell setup playing out exactly as called last week. Break, retest of this range. Some of you guys even caught the sell from up here, which is fucking a massive move. Crazy, crazy move. So with GA, I usually go wider stops around 45, 50 pips for this pair. Guys, that's a 500 pip trade. Just from watching this, 500 pip trade, just from trading the range, like I've been saying. And then, if some of you guys even caught the scale and sell here as well. I mean, so that right there is almost 10%, plus another, possible 300 pip move right there. That's 800 pips just off one pair in the last 2 weeks, just from following this, okay? So what I'd be looking for here, guys, is continue holding your sell. Watch for the possible buy hedge from this level here at this 1.73. You could see a buy hedge back up to get a proper retest of this level. Just make sure you wait for clear price action, because this could just blur through this level, and then from there, you can look for a structure down here. There's really nothing here I'm honestly interested. This is sort of messy and difficult to chart, if I'm being honest. But what you could see is something sort of like, if this buy setup here doesn't play out, you could see something like this for another hedge, right? Like that. Not another hedge, another scale in. So make sure you're watching for that as well. But guys, like, that's 20 RR in the last 2 weeks you could have made just from watching these pairs. Like, literally all you have to do is just watch the setups that I share, okay? And just watch the videos. It's super, super clean. Even if you didn't catch this one, I know a lot of you guys didn't catch it. A few of you did. Majority seem to have caught this one. This is very, very clean. Like, look at this. Look at 1 tap, 2 tap, 3 tap, boom. Even on the lower time frames there, like that would be an entry there, or even here. Super, super clean. So yeah, just really, really clean price action. So last thing I want to cover, guys, is news. Okay, really not much this week. Just be aware of the interest rate decision news coming out of AUD on Monday during Asian session. Inflation rate news coming out on Friday from USD, and I think there is one more GDP growth rate out of the euro on Wednesday, but really nothing here. Okay, so yeah, that's it for now, guys. I'll do another midweek update video on Wednesday if there's anything clean. Otherwise, I'll just do an update in the public Discord. So if you're not already there, make sure you go and join that. You can either get that link through my Instagram or through the buyer here should have it also. That's it for now, guys. Have a great week. Make sure you use strict risk management. Enrollment for the mentorship program is still currently open, so make sure you get in while you can. Okay, not only do I post videos like this every day, I share the entries, I share the setups, plus you get like 40 plus education videos. It's literally a course plus my live trading. I mean, you can call them signals. I hate that word, but you can call them signals. It is what it is. We're very, very fucking profitable. So have a great week, guys, and I will chat to you guys later in the week.